I want you to picture something for me. It's October 10th, 2007. Today, the Orange Box is set to release, bringing us 3 new games as well as packaging Half-Life 2 in the first episode with it. Because in the Orange Box, we were getting the second episode of Half-Life 2. But while all those games are a video in their own right, I'm not going to be talking about them. As today, I'm going to be talking about the game that took my life by storm in elementary school. And that game was Team Fortress 2. Now, before I talk about Team Fortress 2, I gotta talk about what is Team Fortress 2. Well, it's a class-based shooter developed and published by Valve. You know, when they made games. Well, first only being packaged with the Orange Box, it then got its own release, making the game free to play. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a bit about the game's update history, why the game's still being played today, and where the game is now. So, sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy. Now let's go back to 2007, when Team Fortress 2 was released. Not much there in terms of content. You had 9 classes: Scout, Soldier, Pyro, Demoman, Heavy, Engineer, Sniper, Medic, and Spy, as well as a couple of game modes like Capture the Flag, Control Point, Territorial Control, which would be the first and last time we would see Territorial Control. It would stay like this for around 6 months, of course, getting bug fixes and patches along the way. But on April 29th, 2008, the Gold Rush update would come, bringing tons of new content with it. This update brought 3 new weapons for the Medic: the Bloodslogger, Kritzkrieg, and the Ubersaw, and a new map bringing with it a new game mode, Payload. This update was more towards the Medic, but in time everyone would get their fair share of updates, and since this was a Medic update, it added 36 new achievements to the Medic, and by completing these you would unlock the new weapons, allowing the player to get the new stuff by progressing through the game. 2 months later, we got the Pyro update, the second big update for Team Fortress, bringing with it 3 new weapons, 2 new maps, and a new ability for the Pyro. These weapons were the Backburner, the Flare Gun, and the Axe Extinguisher. Of course, followed up by the 2 new maps, CP Fastlane and CTF Turbine. As well, can't forget about those achievements, all centered around the Pyro, of course. But now let's talk about Pyro's new ability, the Air Blast. Ever walked around a corner and saw a soldier or a demoman, feared for your life as you saw the end coming with the rockets or the pills? Fear not anymore, as now with the Air Blast you can shoot those rockets and pills right back at your target, dealing massive damage if they hit. This made Pyro easy to learn but hard to master. As well, we got a little bonus with this update, giving a new Meet the video all centered around the Sniper. The next update we got was the Heavy update on August 19th, 2008, adding 1 new community map and 1 new Valve map, as well new weapons and more achievements. These new maps were CP Steel and Badwater Bison, which was a new payload map which we haven't seen since Gold Rush. And the new weapons were the Natasha, the Sandwich, and the Killing Gloves of Boxing. What a better place to use these than the new game mode, Arena mode, which you were the one who was striving to come out on top in an all-out brawl. This is gonna take a bit too long if I try and do everything, so let me sum up these little major updates. The Scout update brought the Sandman, the Energy Drink, aka Bonk, and the Force of Nature, with 4 new maps, 1 arena map, and 3 CP maps. Spy vs Sniper update, we actually got a fair bit of content, adding the Huntsman and Razorback and Girardi for the Sniper, and the Spy got the Ambassador, Cloak and Dagger, and the Dead Ringer, as well as his own Meet the video. The Engineer would get an update, but not until July 2010, giving him the Wrangler, the Gunslinger, and the Frontier's Justice. But there's an update I have forgotten about. Smiss baby, ooh, oh, it's Scream Fortress, ooh, Miss baby. Hey, you like the funny eyeball, man? No one does. Fuck the funny eyeball, man. All jokes aside, I'm talking about the War update. which was about the Demo Man and the Soldier going in an all-out war. Now, this was like any other normal update bringing weapons and maps, but this was also something new. It was striving for the people to get more kills for their team, aka people had to either get more Demo Man kills or more Soldier kills. While I personally don't know how long the war update went on for, I do know who came out on top. It was the Soldier. By barely anything, actually. I think it was only 100,000 away, which actually kind of surprised me. But just because Demo Man lost doesn't mean he walked away with nothing. He walked away with the Islander with his accessories like his peg leg and shield, as well as the Scottish Resistance, while the Soldier walked away with the buff banner, the direct hit, and the equalizer. While he won the war, he still has Demo Man's friendship. In secret, of course. After this, updates would follow usually the same pattern of new weapons and maps. But this got even further with the idea of cosmetics. Now, cosmetics were, I believe, thrown in a bit before, but when the main economy update, they got even thrown in further, as this update brought tons of new weapons for each character, but also brought the main crates. Now, these were loot boxes, but at the time, it was very, very rare to see a game even have loot boxes back then. The only thing you could really find is probably in a mobile game. So, if you're thinking it was bad, less than a year later, it would go to free to play. But after this, it just took off with all of these cosmetics, and it just kept going up from there. I don't think this is a bad thing, but that's just how it happened. And with Smithmas and Scream Fortress always being annual things, it always brought new content to these that was always festive. Now that we covered a little bit about Team Fortress 2's update history, let's talk about why the game's still being played today. Ever since TF2 launched, it had some of the best characters. They were funny and had their own personalities. Scout was this cocky kid from Boston, while Medic was the insane doctor from Germany. Always stereotypical, but it wasn't in a bad way. Now, remember when in the beginning when I said the Pyro update brought the new Meet the video? These were the best possible way to experience what these characters were like. That wasn't the comics. They showed off their character perfectly, because it was just dedicated to who they are and what they do, showing off the best things about them. Now, how could I talk about these characters if I didn't talk about Soldier? Soldier was voiced by Rick May, who lost his fight to COVID this year, which made everyone in the community, including me, very sad. And when Valve heard about this, they updated the game, adding a new track dedicated to the Soldier, as well as adding Soldier statues on every single map to honor Rick May. This was the absolute best way to do it, as everyone knows him as a Soldier. So God rest you, Rick May. You were good, son. Real good. Most definitely the best. Now, this may come off as a bit of biased opinion, but the music in Team Fortress 2 is the best. I may be butchering his name, but Mike Moraski did an amazing job when coming up with these tracks. You have this bombastic shit like Intruder Alert, or the humble strums of guitar from More Gun. As well as this ominous stuff from shit like Right Behind You. Every single track in this album is just it's a bop. It's just a bop. And as well as fight songs being released, you can own every single track for yourself. I would highly recommend you listen to this stuff, especially if you like music from movies like The Incredibles or the show Cowboy Bebop. They're just amazing. Next up, we got gameplay. This game would have never survived as long as it did if it wasn't for how good the gameplay of this is. With these 9 classes, there's always ways to counter one another. Take for instance, you got an engineer and you got the demo man. An engineer is set up guarding the objective, and well, you gotta get on there and capture that point. So what you do, you take out your trusty sticky bomb launcher, fire a couple of those things, watch the sparks fly. He's gonna have to live the rest of his life in a soup can. Or, let's try another one. The Sniper and Heavy. The Heavy can do massive damage trying to capture or defend a post. Well, when he's revving up that minigun, he's sure as hell slow. He's taking your nice and easy time lining up that shot to the head, getting rid of him as fast as he came up. As well as with a different variety of weapons for each class, changes almost into a whole new subclass of characters. For the combat medic, you always gotta run the Kritzkrieg, the Crusader's crossbow, or the Bloodslonger, depending on your preference. Or you could run with the offensive NG, which you would always be running with the Gunslinger. Or as hell, the mighty and dangerous Heavy Scout. When you see this guy on the field, you better clear out. There's no stopping him where he's going. As well, this game it runs like Quake. It's fast paced, and you got some of the classic stuff like rocket jumping, which makes sense as this Team Fortress 2 did come from a Quake mod. But now we move on to our last part of the video, the state of Team Fortress 2 today. Today, it's sad to say it, but Team Fortress 2 is in a bad spot. The updates it's getting, it's lower and lower each year. This year it was 6, last year it was 19, and before that it was 22. You may think it's 6 updates this year because of COVID, but the last major update for this game, not including Scream Fortress or Smithsmiths, was in 2017. We've always known that Team Fortress 2 was on its last legs, but it's getting pretty bad, as one of the main guys left the team to go work on Half-Life Alyx. When he leaves, something bad's gonna happen to it. I've been playing Team Fortress 2 since 2014, back when I was in 4th grade, on my old Xbox 360. I got the game because my friend told me to get it. He said there was this really cool multiplayer game that we could play, and I said, sure, I'll get it. And I couldn't have made a better decision. I don't think I would be making this video that I'm uploading today if it wasn't for him. I would have never known this game existed. So I have to thank him. And it's sad to see how bare bones the game was back then, and seeing it just dry up now. It makes me sad to see that. And seeing as how there's probably not going to be Team Fortress 3 on the horizon, or maybe even at all. We just have to wait and see what's going to happen to this game. It could either make a complete 180 and pump out updates like it's no tomorrow, or it can just burn out. But just because there's no hope left for Team Fortress 2 doesn't mean there's not hope in the community. There has been many projects dedicated to Team Fortress that are all amazing. Creators.tf, Team Fortress 2 Classic, and Open Fortress are amazing mods. I've played every single one, and they're all just great. I would recommend you all play them if you like Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 Classic gets that old, nostalgic feel of when Team Fortress 2 was originally released, as well as adding some new maps and some custom weapons, and of course putting some old ones that are in there from the current Team Fortress 2. Open Fortress takes more of that Quake vibe and just goes with that. It is more centered around the free-for-all arena mode aspect of Quake, and it works perfectly down to a T. And then you have creators.tf, which is all trying to add community content to this game. New weapons, new cosmetics, and new maps. Most of the gameplay that you've actually seen is me playing on creators.tf, as it's just great. It brings back the feel of the updates that were back in the old days, as I was never around for that, as I never had a PC up until a couple of years ago, allowing me to play these. So I would highly recommend that everyone goes and checks out these mods, as they are just amazing. Well, that's all I wrote. I really hope you guys enjoy this. This is completely different from the content that I have uploaded. I wanted to do this because I saw Team Fortress 2 retrospective, which I would definitely recommend you go and watch. It was a very good video. And I wanted to, upload a video of mine, not ripping off from him, but, doing something that I wanted to do. It's not, an hour and 30 minutes, or a lot of other videos that are hours long covering a game. This is probably what I'm thinking is around, 15, 20. So anyway, I'm rambling. I just want to thank you all so much for watching. If you've stuck around till the end, it really does mean a lot to me that people actually watch this, because, well, I'm just uploading this stuff for fun. I'm doing this because I'm stuck inside all day, having nothing better to do. I'll see you in the next one. If you are new here, though, please go check out my other content if you liked it. I'm not going to ask if you to subscribe, because I don't really care. Just go check out content go check out my content if you like it. Anyway, peace.